Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, my people. Today's topic is actually an interesting one. It's how to actually spot a real dispatcher and expose the pros from the pretenders. And what a better day to do it than on a Monday because this is grind time. Everybody's starting their week. So hopefully you're actually getting loaded, heading out, or actually maybe even getting unloaded for those who actually took advantage of possibly taking a load out on a Sunday. All right, my people, we're going to give it a little bit of time. What's up, David? Thank you for joining and gather around a little bit and we will get this party started. All right. How's every how's everybody's weekend? Drop it in the comments below. Hopefully nobody got stuck and everything went to plan. All right. What's up, Midnight Trucker? How's everything? Thank you for joining. Guys, make sure if these topics hit home and they help you out, make sure you share this with like-minded individuals or truckers who are out there that could benefit from a video just like this. All right, guys. So again, hope everybody had a great weekend. Uh, Time to grind. It's Monday. Don't forget, guys, please make sure you put the questions in the chat. In addition to that, make sure you subscribe. You got an ability to catch up on a lot of the videos and the content that we put out there. They come out after 5 o'clock, Monday to Friday. So keep an eye out for that. And if you're not already subscribed, please make sure you head over to Super Trucker Podcast and subscribe on that YouTube. All right, guys. And make sure you get this in front of fellow truckers just like yourself. All right, just give it a few more minutes and then we will get this started. All right, guys, don't forget, throw your questions in that chat early. We're going to get to every single one of them by the end of the video. So make sure you're getting that done and smash that like button and make sure you don't forget to subscribe. All right, we'll give this thing a few more minutes and then we will get started. All right, so hopefully that improves the audio. Here we go. Give it a few more minutes and we will get started. Put it in the comments. How many guys are out there getting loaded right now? How many guys actually getting unloaded? I'd be interested to know something like that. Hey, what's up, Sam? Hi, back to work. It's not work when you're having fun. What's up with that, Sam? Trucking's fun. What are you talking about? All right. Mike said real owner operators don't work on Mondays because they start Sundays, Sunday nights. Here we go. Is that the formula? how to spot a real dispatcher, questions that you can be asking them to expose the pros from the pretenders in the spot market. All right, that's today's topic. Let's give it about another minute or so. We shall get started. All right. All right. So here we go. I think it's a good time to get started. Once again, my name is Christian. I'm with Voyager Nation, a super trucker podcast. What we do here is put good content in front of good people so that owner operators in the trucking community can win. So today's topic, like I said before, is going to be how to spot a real dispatcher and expose the pros from the pretenders in the spot market industry. So one of the things that you should be doing for those that are thinking of jumping ship, or those who are thinking about buying a truck and getting started into this, um, what are some core questions that you can ask? So what we're going to do is dive in a little bit deeper. It's not going to be those superficial questions that could be answered vaguely. But again, what these questions are going to do is going to equip you with questions that are going to force uh, really detailed answers. So it's going to give you a great idea of how this guy operates, right, and how he resolves problems, or she. So we're going to start with the first core questions: negotiation and broker interaction. Right, that's one of the most important parts. So one of the things that you could be doing here is ask, what are the top three things you negotiate with brokers on my behalf? All right. So what that's going to reveal to you is whether they focus only on the rate, or all they are they also thinking about, you know, detention, layovers, tonus, another thing, delivery times. These are all of the things that you can also look at what is negotiable, right? So even delivery times, we've seen that where our dispatchers could take what could be a shitty load, but because you negotiated the time, it became a really good load as a filler, as a straight through, because you converted it to a straight through. And now there's not only that, there's also detailed information, especially what our guys do here. Even if you do that, you have to make sure you're getting that revised raycon, which is another form of discipline, and making sure that you're getting that, because it's one thing to negotiate that, and it's another thing to make sure it's happening. So those are two very distinct things. So again, the question you want to be asking: what are the top three things that you negotiate with the broker on my behalf? And hopefully they're giving you more than that superficial answer and a vague answer. All right. Another thing that you can be asking my people is going to be, walk me through the exact process when a broker pushes back on a rate. What do you say? This is going to reveal the confidence, his strategy, and how aggressive they actually are. Because if the individual is going to say, "Ah, move on to the next one," well, that's not really right. Because with what's happening, that every load that's posted up there is going to be negotiable. And based on that, you don't want to just accept low hanging fruit. You have to dive into every single one that you're calling in on. You have to be negotiating. That is like second nature, or should be at least second nature to that pro. So you want, you want this exposed right away before you find yourself in a bind with the individual. Okay, even for us, that's how we do it. Anybody coming in onto the team, as far as dispatchers, they're going to get pushed for that. They're going to get pressed to always negotiate, even if surface level that's a badass load. It doesn't matter. Every time, push every single time. All right. How do you decide if a load is a good load beyond just the rate per mile? All right. This is going to test the individual, and you're going to get to see if they understand the market trends, deadhead, weight, pickup, drop constraints, right? So this allows you to know that they're looking more, they're looking at it holistically. They're looking at it. How does this load fit the puzzle of the week? That's the most important part that he should be looking for. So now you know your guy is strategizing, right? Different if a guy's like, hey man, it's you 275 a mile. That's it. Perfect load. What can go wrong? Well, where's it going? How are we getting out of there? What's the plan? You want to make sure that it's not just surface level. You want to make sure he's answering these questions. And remember, guys, these questions come from you to that dispatcher. Whether you're on the phone with them before you actually sign up with that carrier, whether you're in the orientation, you should be asking for that meet and greet, meet the dispatcher, and this is where you should be focusing on and executing your questions, and so you have a nice understanding of what you're walking into. All right, you want to also know their problem solving skills under pressure. So here's a couple questions that you can ask to identify, and you're going to be able to pick up on their skill set on that. All right. Tell me about the time you booked a load, you booked a bad load. What did you learn and how did you fix it? Reveals honesty, self awareness, and real problem solving mindset. So this has happened to everybody. You're not going to be a pro without going through any of this. But at least that you're going to see why is honesty there, because everything is for face value. And so the benefit to that is that you're going to know that you're going to get everything pretty much raw. And so that's going to help you make decisions because trucking will happen. It's just a matter of when. It's part of the game. But you want to identify who this individual is, and how it's going to benefit you to partner up with this dispatcher. All right. Another one can be, how do you handle it when a driver shuts down early or refuses a load? All right, here, I mean, you're going to test emotional intelligence on and adaptability. But again, you have some ownership on this. Like, why are we shutting down early? What is the cause of that? Is it just because he likes that truck stop and so he's giving up 3 hours of drive time? I would say I would challenge an individual. I don't think that's the best plan. But again, um, it's something or a guy refuses a load. Why are you refusing the load? He may ask you, tell me more. So now you're actually engaging with that individual, and now you're going to see his type of questions that he has for you, and if they're fruitful, if they make sense, if they're outside the box, uh and so forth. All right. What's the process when a driver misses a pickup window? Looks at their damage control ability and communication strategy. All right. So uh, remember, you don't want some nice, sweet, vague answer. We deal with it. Life happens. There's traffic. No, it's going to depend. Our guys are going to press you. Was I communicated? Did you tell me about, that we are going to be late? Because now the damage control comes to earlier. I knew I can reach out to the brokers. I could reach out to the reload to try to salvage that. It's not over till it's over, and try to find a way out of it because trucking does happen. So again, these questions are also made for you to dialogue with the individual and get to learn each other on how he or she is going to operate. All right. Going back to planning and operations, which is another key focus that you should be making sure that they're excelling in. Right. You want do you use PC Miler? Do you use Google Maps or something else to plan the routes? And so, why is this important? Because you want to make sure you never know who you're getting. You just want to confirm that they're getting miles and distances and all that, that they're including your empty miles. So if you have some deadhead involved, are they giving you the empty loaded and empty together? What does the rate look like there? Is it separate? So I know our guys are going to do that as well. So our guys will give you the loaded miles rate per mile, and with the empty, it's all combined. Remember, I'm not necessarily saying that deadhead is a bad thing, but it does affect your business. But nevertheless, if the rate's strong enough on the pickup, it really doesn't matter. You're moving the truck. Truck has to move no matter what. All right. So this is also going to give you an idea. Do they understand hours of service and to what extent? Okay. And that leads to the next question. You can ask the individual, how well, do you understand hours of service and how do they affect your dispatch strategy? So this one here is actually going to test their knowledge of the real world trucking, hours of service. Now, this one is a little tricky because what's going to happen is, for example, our guys, they're going to know the basics, right? They're going to know the basics enough to present when we're giving that reload. Everything is calculated. We're only going to offer things that are gonna make the times right. However, everybody's a little bit different. Not everybody is built even. It's not fair, but it is what it is. Some guys are going to be stronger than others. So some guys can be 5, 6, 700 miles a day. Um, I've been doing this a long time, and everybody I meet, everybody's in beast mode. Everybody can kill 700 miles until they don't. So the reality is, none of that really matters. What matters is understanding your capacity so that the dispatcher could plan appropriately and max out your revenue based on what's real. And that's the key here. So we're not talking vague, we're not talking pretend. We just want to know what's realistic so that you can get your customized plan, and we can move your truck and put some money on that truck. So that's really what it comes down to. Uh, but again, you don't want somebody offering you freaking, 2 hours on your clock and you got 600 miles on there as a straight through, and he's like, can you make it, something ridiculous like that. So for sure, you want to be able to see where your guy stands in that position. All right. How far in advance do you try to plan a driver's next load? And so you'll know if they're reactive and what's their strategy. So your answer should actually be, remember, one, you're just getting to know the guy. So he's probably going to tell you, pre-book you a couple loads out. However, he doesn't know what your on-time performance is just yet. That the answer to that really depends on how much if this guy is showing up on time. And that comes back to the 5, 6, 700 mile day kind of guy, what he accomplished, how he got there. So the more efficient the individual is at that, the longer you can pre-book a guy out. So again, but this should be extracted. This should be actually extracted. So if a guy isn't talking to you just like this, then and is just answering you with fluff, you probably got a problem. All right, guys. So what's your backup plan? What's your backup plan when the load cancels at the last minute? This is actually going to reveal the resourcefulness, the and how well this guy can actually work under pressure, because this does happen more often than not, and a lot of our guys don't even feel it because they're offered with an alternative while they're getting the news of the cancellation. So remember, what you're probably noticing here is the guy's always looking. He's always looking for a backup plan. He's always looking for an alternative on how to keep your truck moving. So remember, our guys with their negotiation skills. All right, getting that truck order not used, number one, from the location that canceled it, and having the alternative plan. All these things are working simultaneously, and so that's why this question is going to be very important for you. Okay, so what we got next is going to be. Um, money in the margins. All right. So that's a key player for you guys because you want to know about the money. That's why we're all here. David, good morning, my friend. How's everything today? Okay, as we take a little break here, make sure you like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Guys, put this information in front of other owner operators or truckers, so they too can share it amongst the community and benefit from this opportunity. And again, I'm always looking for top of the line owner operators. So if you have any questions about how we do things here, you got to give us a call at 863-342-5171. All right, so money and margins. Asking the guy, what is your philosophy on running at a loss to reposition for a better lane? This is going to show long-term thinking, and that he's not just chasing the rates for today, right? He's not just chasing, like we said, $3 a mile, ending up in freaking Colorado, empty with no reload at a 5 o'clock on a Friday. You never want to be in that position. But again, um, running at a loss, it's going to be a real conversation, because if it's just a vague answer and you're like, hey, we only got good loads here, necessarily, like, moving the truck is the key, right? You want to see his holistic view on how he's going to move his truck. All right. uh, How do you calculate if the load is profitable after factoring fuel, deadhead, and tolls? So this is going to separates real dispatchers from the load board monkeys, man. Like, because you want the guy that is actually looking at your week holistically, and he can tell you what your plan is, right? So if a guy called in and you said, "Hey, man, I want to make $4,000 take home after expenses." All right, so my man should be asking you a few questions. All right, we need to be hitting 7,200 gross. Boom. Not only that, how many miles you get into the gallon? You have to know your cost. And so now he's going to give you that time frame, right? So let's say that's the magic number, 7,200 gross. Yeah, you need that to be taking anything from 44,000 up. Make sure you're taking advantage of the fuel savings that we offer. So that's the kind of dialogue that should be happening. And so now your plan is that he's looking at it to get to that magic number. It doesn't matter how you're getting there, right? So it's not gonna be that magical load out of Florida just got you halfway there. That shit ain't gonna happen. So it's gonna mean we got to get out no matter what, right? And then what happens after that? He's engaging with you on how to negotiate where money exists, not where it doesn't. So here we go. So you want to know how he's calculating and doing his math. What are the thresholds? Like, where are we supposed to be on a Wednesday in order to hit these numbers? You got to be paying attention to that. You want to be asking them, hey, what are red flags on a Raycon that would make you pause before accepting something? This is a major one. We have a lot. We have we actually gather up all our Raycons that are predatory and that we absolutely did not do. So maybe that in itself is going to be a video for a later date. We'll just kind of go through them. But they should be scanning those predatory raycons, right? You have to know that some of them are going to be ridiculous with the amount of money they charge for being late, whether it's your fault or not. They're ridiculous without, if the tracking failed or if it stopped at any moment, is it half the line haul, 30, 40% of the line haul? These are the key things that they should be saying. You know, are they holding some of it for the line haul? Do they even offer detention time? So all of these things are what he should be mentioning to you, because it is so common to have these predatory raycons. It would be such a bullshit answer to say, nah, man, they're all good once I lock it down. Nah, man, you got to be looking at these raycons. As a matter of fact, if it's too predatory, put that shit back. There's always another load that'll end up that, even if it pays a little less, you're gonna get paid, as opposed to that Raycon that has so many restrictions that you're probably gonna end up doing that shit for free. So again, you want to ask them, what is their process? Do they communicate that to you, and so forth? And once you even have that, probably share it with you, just shits and giggles, and check them out. All right. Do you help with factoring paperwork, lumper coordination, and EFS codes? So you want to know the process, right? So even if the guy doesn't do the EFS himself, and maybe somebody from billing does it or whatever. So the idea isn't necessarily to understand what their process is so much, but you want to understand that he knows about the process and that there is a pathway for you to get your issue resolved. You know what I mean? So he might say, hey, like my guys would say, hey, look, man, when I read that Raycon, it tells us we have to have that signed paperwork within an hour over to the broker to get paid and avoid a $75 deduction. So our guys are only going to take those lows because they have the discipline in order to make that happen. So that's going to show the hands-on helpfulness that they have, the understanding of the game, and the requirements of these people. Because at the end of the day, that's how you make money. Okay, communication. And availability, that is going to be another key factor to it. You want to definitely make sure you have a good understanding of what this person can do for you and how much communication is actually going to exist. So are you available 24/7, and what's your process during the emergencies? All right. If they flinch, man, I don't know. I don't know if they're supposed to be in trucking. So the way we do it, dedicated dispatcher, available 24/7. Emergencies do happen. They're going to communicate. They will get you the resources you need in order to be successful. There's a person in the safety that handles accidents, breakdowns, all that good stuff. There's a process to it, but nevertheless, your point of contact is there. And so, why do we think that point of contact has to exist? Because the understanding behind it is going to be this: while that is getting resolved with the safety and whatever problems are there, the dispatcher knows exactly what they booked. So where you're going, what time you're unloading or picking up, whatever the situation may be. And not only that, they know about the reload. So all of these things start going through that individual's mind in order to make sure that, while safety is doing their thing and focusing on that, we're already starting the emails to the necessary people in order to salvage and make the best of the situation we have. Remember, the name of the game: bang out that 7,200. That was the plan. How do we stick to the plan? Just because trucking happens, it doesn't mean we stray from it or we give up. No, 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 no. What we have to do is make sure we're fighting every step of the way in order to make that happen. So now the dispatcher can focus on their end, shoot out a couple good emails, and safety is resolving on their end. Either way, you got the team working in your favor while you're focusing on being on the side of the road or whatever the situation may be. You focus on your part, and together, collectively, you minimize any kind of losses. So that's why that's extremely important. You got those other places like you call after hours, and it's going to take you 10-15 minutes just to explain who you are and what load you're on. That's just 15-20 minutes wasted in our point of view. All right. uh, how often will you check in with me during the week, and how do you prefer we communicate? So that one's key, man. And the reason I think that that's key is because everybody has different styles of communication. I think old school cats like the telephone call. New cats texting. Some guys like that. I don't know. That's not my favorite, but it's gonna. It's. I think this identifies a sense of urgency because in trucking, man, you're always scanning. Everybody got problems. I don't care where you work. Trucking is going to happen. So if you're not fixing a problem, you should be scanning for one. And as you're scanning for one, you're proactively resolving it before it actually pops up. So the individuals should be telling you how they're going to communicate, checking in with you. Now, our guys, they do have access to Motive, so they're going to see, if you have that 9 a.m. delivery, whatever the case may be, just only 20 miles away or whatever. So they're going to see that you started. So not necessarily are they going to bother you unless you want that phone call. But nevertheless, they're going to see that you're tracking. They're going to see that you have movement and all is good. So just because you didn't get that telephone call, it doesn't mean they're not looking. It doesn't mean they're not scanning and looking for potential issues. Everybody's always pushing in the right direction. Okay. Accountability and performance. All right. One of the questions here is: do you work on commission, salary, or bonus? What motivates you? So I know this is a kind of weird topic because nobody should be talking about their salary and what they make. So I think the key focus is going to be here. It's to give you an insight of uh, what this is personally going to give the individual. So, for example, if the guy is incentivized by the bonus, right? So now you know that you have a guy who is looking for your best interest because the more money you're going to gross on that truck, the more money he is going to make and you're going to make. It should be that way because you're going to force those entrepreneurial mindset into always making more money on your truck. They're always scanning for different alternatives. Their creativity is going to be there. At least that's how our guys are going to do it. Uh, I got a question here. What is a non-forced dispatch versus forced dispatch? Um, so basically, a forced dispatch is going to be you're taking this load, whether you like it or not. Here you go. A non-forced dispatch would mean, you know, hey, here's some options, right? But it's kind of tricky here because this topic is a fine line, man. You're like right on the edge because again, you got to be trusting your dispatcher. Your dispatcher has to be a pro that it's almost going to feel like it's a forced dispatch because your level of trust should be there that you know he's going to hit those numbers every single week. So discussing a load potentially a little bit too long is going to mean that the load is gone. Remember, those guys move quick. Those dispatchers move quick. Those loads move quick. You spend too much time debating about something, it's going to be gone. So again, if the goal is the 7,200, let's say, just beating that number to death this week. So if the goal is 7,200, we got to get to that no matter what. There's not too much room for negotiation. I'm just gonna ask you what's that number, and let's go get it. And so everything else in between, what's it matter? As long as we get to that number. So it's got to make sense on that end. All right. Uh, and you know you want to be able to also judge the individual and see what they have to say and their thought process. So a good question is going to be, what are the top three things you need from me to make us successful? All right, this is going to gauge their partnership mindset, but not just vague and not just soft, man. I'm talking about he should be saying, bro, like, just take every load I give you and we will be successful. That, that from an individual shows a sense of not arrogance, man. I'm not even going to say that, but a sense of confidence, man. That's what our guys are going to do. So if everybody would just listen and just take that load, they would be better off for it, um, holistically at the end of the week, right? So you want to make sure that that question comes up. Hey, you better be showing up on time and calling me if there's any kind of delays as soon as possible. Don't wait for a problem to automatically fix itself. We have to fix these problems. They're not just going to go away. Your answers should be somewhere along those lines. And if they're not, you got to give us a call at 863-342-5171 because you're probably in the wrong place. Anything less than that is going to be detrimental to your business. It's a little too sugar coated. And if they're sugarcoating that, how are you going to resolve problems when they actually happen? Right. So that's where you have to see. All right. Uh, Now, here's another one, right, guys? Tell me about the time you helped the driver avoid a claim or handle a load going wrong. And so, why they should be giving you a very, very good example about this is because this, my friends, happens all the time. It's almost like just second nature out here for us. So, what's going to happen is the details are in the why our dispatchers are asking you for pictures, right? The reason we're asking for those pictures is because the pictures are worth 1,000 words. These guys will put claims on you as quick as possible, but with pictures, we're resolving all of that, right? So once you're sending, he's going to tell you, send me over the signed paperwork. I have had situations where it says six damages with a six bags damaged and a signature. You want to tackle that there because that's twofold. That can be a claim, one, and they can hold the pay on that because is the factoring company even going to buy that potential issue? So behind the scenes, there's a lot going on, but this is why he wants this information to make sure that when you're getting your money, it is as seamless as possible. So they're scanning for this all the time. Even if the guy, your unloader, I've been in these situations so many times where the guy getting you unloaded, he's like, don't worry about it. It's still good. Look at it. Nothing happened. It's just a box. It's just dented a little bit. Well, that's cute. But at the end of the day, what he signed on that bill of lading is king. And so now on that POD, right, is that type of verbiage is going to affect you in the long run. And you don't want anything where now somebody in a billing department somewhere or the factoring or whatever it may be is going, they don't know any of that transpired. All they know is that there's going to be a potential loss on this load. So they're just going to stop everything until it resolves itself or until it resolves, right? Until they get further communication whether this is okay. So what's going to happen is, remember back when that guy said it's no problem, nobody's following up, nobody's doing anything if the guy just put that stuff on the shelf and man, shit, that shit sold already, or who even knows? But now this lady in billing is waiting for 60 plus days in order to get you paid out. So you want your dispatcher to be aware of these things and that these things can happen. You don't want, just wham bam, thank you, man, took the paperwork and didn't question you on anything. Remember, our guys are going to question because we are actually resolving issues. Um, we got a question here. Diva, do you have customer freight or is it all load board freight? Uh, we can tailor to both, but remember, we are 100% owner operator. So we are all about putting the best paying opportunities in front of our customer, which is the owner operator. So remember, that dedicated freight happens to be the lowest bidder won that bid. And so not necessarily does it work out for our guys all the time. But if guys are looking for that, we can actually enter a partnership with you. And hey, bring your truck. We look for that perfect storm. I can put some trailers on it, put the insurance, we'll do our part, but it's just got to make sense. You have to dedicate your truck to something like that, and we will do our part of the dedication. So if anybody out there is open to an opportunity like that, once again, it's 863-342-5171. As long as everybody can make money off of that, then that's not a problem. But we don't want that barely paying customer freight just because it's easy and comfortable, and our guys can't even survive off that. That's not something we're looking to put into our portfolio. But again, open to both. So here we go. Um, So going back to those claims, guys, yep, you want your guy facing that. That's going to also tell you that he knows what time it is. That's how much this dispatcher should be forward thinking. He's not just a load planner. He's not just completely unaware of these situations and unaware of that these things happen. You know that he's in the trenches. You know that he's solving problems. You know that he's been burnt. You know that he's not going to get burnt again. All right. So you want them, these are questions that can open up a great line of communication. You just got to be asking the right ones. And that's what this is about. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and put this in front of other owner operators. Mike's asking, where's Luna? She's here taking a nap. I don't even know if I can. It's Monday, man. She had a long weekend. I can't move this one. No, it's my people. Here we go. That's Luna. She's the head. She's this big old. She's the presidente. So she makes all the big decisions right here. A little backstory in that we actually got her as a kid, and she just came up to one of the trailers, and she was probably like this big. We fed her, took her to the vet. She was actually chipped, but the owners never came back for her. And they gave us a call and said either come get her or. So we had to go get her. We wouldn't let that happen. But anyway, that's Luna's story. Now she runs a trucking company. So good life, huh? All right. So a couple more questions that you can be asking your potential dispatcher to be, or even your current one, and put them to the test. It's a great dialogue for a Monday. Is how do you stay up to date with the market trends and rate fluctuations? It's going to reveal their professionalism. It's going to also reveal, what kind of tricks they have. Like, are they even posting trucks? Are you reminding them to post a truck? Guys, are my people posting trucks? Better be posting them. How many phone calls are we making? It's all cute to have dedicated reps at certain brokerages, but that doesn't mean that that's the best price. You have to call around in order to ensure that you're getting all your owner operators the best of the best that's out there. So there's some homework that has to be done to that. And it's phone call, phone call, phone call, phone call. I mean, just to book your first load on Monday morning, I want to say you got to bang out at least 25 to 30 phone calls. Anything less than that, you're pretty much unaware. So engage with that potential dispatcher, and talk about that with him. Don't accept low hanging fruit, and so forth. Tell me about the time a broker tried to finesse you. How did you handle it? Now here's how it works, man. You're actually going to pick up on their street smart. And I think the spot market dispatcher is probably it's got to that's one of the characteristics, hands down for sure, man. It's got to be those individuals that are actually street smart, right? So and negotiate in more of a sales type attitude because they're always scanning. So for example, a couple things that brokers have done to us, try to finesse you. Hey, this bad boy delivers 3 o'clock on a Friday. The rate's good, all of that, but it's a holiday weekend, right? So you better, as a dispatcher, you better be calling trust but verify. Call the receiver, or the shipper, depending on your situation. Find out. Less is more. So when you call there, hey, I'm just calling. I got a driver doing a delivery or a pickup at 3 o'clock. Just want to make sure it's a holiday weekend. You still there? Let's say they're like, nah, man, we close early, 11 o'clock. Everybody knows that. Boom, you're giving that load back. So you want that type, that happens all the time. Dispatchers try to finesse, dispatchers try to, push, they'll get you unloaded, or they'll get you loaded right away. They're always going to try to finesse. So the idea behind this is they are just as good at this game as we are. So it's a constant negotiation, constant back and forth, trust but verify. And we verify because before you pick up that load, we want to know a lot of the things that we want to smell that bullshit before you pick up that load. Because once you pick up that load, the game changes a little bit, right? Now we in it. Now we are responsible for that load, and our point of attack could become a little bit more complicated, but nevertheless, it could get resolved. But you want to know those details ahead of time and so forth. All right. You can also ask that dispatcher, hey, if you were in my shoes as the owner operator, what would you expect from your dispatcher? And here we go. That turns the mirror on them, shows you how much awareness they have. Empathy, I mean, to a degree, I mean, everybody has a choice, right? We all made a choice. Some of you guys chose to be truckers, some guys chose to do this, some guys chose to do that. So we made that choice. It's not so much about that, it's about awareness, and kind of unpacking and revealing how this individual makes decisions. So and then you're going to see the highlights of what this actual individual is looking for. So now on that priority list what he or she thinks is important, and now you can better structure yourself with that. Okay. All right. So uh, kind of touching back to that broker relationship, and reputation management. So what do you do to maintain a good broker relationship and get a reload faster? You'll find out if they build repeat business or if they just hustle blindly. Hustling blindly is one thing. I wouldn't do that, right? Don't chase the rate like that. However, relationships are good, but they have to be balanced. And that's where our dispatchers excel. Where I know these brokers need a truck and they know we need a load, but our truck will get the best rate possible. And so if they're not going to provide that rate, it doesn't matter how many loads we did with them. It doesn't really matter how much money is under the belt with them. We have to move the truck where the money's at. So, and then we can come back tomorrow and actually book a load with them. So there it is. Like nothing is personal like that, but it's all about delivery. It's the finesse of your dispatcher, how he finesses that relationship. You don't want the guy where he thinks that the broker is his customer. Nah, man, you're the customer. Um, the broker is a means to an end. They're part of the equation, a big part of the equation. So you have to know how to deliver information, how to finesse it, and how to maneuver within that, and so that you can come out on top, which means the owner operator is making the best bang for his buck. Have you ever blacklisted a broker? Why? Ooh, this reveals how they protect the company and bad partnerships. Yes, 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 yes. But remember, guys, you should okay. So your guys should be answering how we answer, right? We don't think that list is. It's not about getting that list as long as possible. And I got Alex asking, do you work with TQL? No, I do not. And let me tell you why they're on our blacklist. Because they cancel loads a lot, And so now you got a bunch of cats out of college and all of that, and now this nice big old Shark Tank in there, and beer pong and all that good shit. But what's happening is they're lowballing each other. So let's say you booked a load and it's in the bag, right? And then all of a sudden somebody there found the carrier for a little bit less, and now they're canceling your load on you. And then that's the problem. So it's not so much that they cancel the load on me, right? That shit happens. That's not what I'm offended by. One of the things that happens is my customer, the owner operator. So imagine we deadheaded a little bit to pick up. I'm now in a bind. One or two times of that, maybe my owner operator is going to understand. But anything further than that, he straight up thinks it's me. He thinks I'm bullshitting. He thinks that I'm just saying that and there was never a reload. So, and if that guy leaves because of your actions, TQL, then I got a problem because I'm watching a good customer walk out because I'm pretending that you don't operate that way. So TQL is on that blacklist. I don't rock with them. And they have to, in order to make the list, they got to be irrational, usually people that are not going to be willing to work and solve problems. That's really how you have to see it, right? Because truck is going to happen no matter what. So really is like, how can a problem get resolved as quick as possible, um, as with meaningful, with good effort and realistic expectations. So that is one of the biggest things why guys make our blacklist. And again, man, I'm always open because I have had people come in with experience and they say, "Hey, man, I use this broker all the time. Not a problem." So we have attempted to take people off the blacklist because they do have a connection, and sometimes it's simple, man. Hey, they owe me detention time. So you get them to pay that. I don't give a shit. 6 months ago, whatever, pay that up, and then we work with them. And then here we go. So kind of funny story. We actually, Mike was mentioning this on one of the podcasts about TQL. We had an individual that said, no, 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 they're good people. So we said, all right, bring them in. We put them back on the list, but it's only as good as till they cancel the load. So you have your connection, you have your boy you work with all the time. Cool. Let's leverage that relationship. But the minute something is canceled, show's over. That's the only stipulation. Well, that lasted 3 days, and then we were back at it. So here we go. So that's our story with that TQL. All right. Uh, so, what is your process for checking brokers' credit and reliability? Guys, you want to be asking this because remember what's going on behind the scenes. You never want to deliver a load that now nobody's getting paid on, which means you're not getting paid. So, you want to make sure that they have a due diligence. It's not just about grabbing the load, but also, hey, the guy's probably going to tell you what my guys tell you. Probably not actually, but here we go. They're running credit as you're calling up on a load, right? Time is money. So my dispatchers are trained in that regard. Run up credit. If credit is denied, I ain't even staying on the phone. It's time to go. Why am I wasting time? This broker doesn't have credit. Credit is always changing. You can actually run credit in the morning, no credit in the afternoon. So it has to be second nature. You got to be consistent with that. You don't want to find yourself in a pinch just because your guy got lazy on that. Nobody wants to get delivered like, hey, you're not getting paid because these people don't have credit. So all of that should be part of the back office work of a good dispatcher, especially the pros. The guys that don't know, they false, it just looked like a good rate, no credit. They just bypass that and then wonder why there's no money coming in. So you don't want to be in that position. And even if somebody has to file against a bond and all that, at that point, what are you even going to get? And who are you in line? And it's just problematic. All right. Um, all right. Uh, Working styles and the team fit. How do you handle personality clashes, and difficult drivers of an owner? Knowing how they process information is a good thing. You want to know, can they keep cool, calm, collective, especially in tough situations, because that's going to mean your money at the end of the day. So you want to know actually who's in front of you. Are they short fused? Are they not? Do they remain? Can they keep their composure and have the clarity in order to resolve issues? So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. All right, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If your dispatcher cannot answer these questions, please, you got to give us a call at 863-342-5171. You should be talking to one of my dispatchers. And again, we even do uh, open door policy. Anybody in this Lakeland area that wants to stop by the terminal, come in, sit with my dispatch, meet the ops guy. We will show sample settlements, full transparency on what guys are doing. Tell us about your home time. We'll tell you how much we can put on your truck based on how you're willing to move your truck. So again, guys, 863-342-5171. Okay. It's definitely Monday. We're going to get to a couple questions, but we are kind of running short on time. Diva said, "What if I don't get along with my dispatch and ask for someone else? Am I getting blacklisted?" No, not at all. So there is dialogue about like why you're not getting along with the dispatcher, what it might be about, because we got to know what the problem is in order to fix it. Just switching somebody without understanding why I'm moving somebody is it has no real value there. But again, sometimes it could just be as simple as personality, not a problem. But again, if it's somebody that's maybe there is an underlying issue that we have to drag out so that we can resolve it. So it'll be like, hey, what's the problem? Blah, blah, blah. Is it the money? Is it this? Is it that? But no, never, nobody's ever blacklisted. Our guys operate with a high level of maturity and professionalism, and nothing's ever personal. So nobody will get blacklisted to that. Uh, Not at all. As a matter of fact, you know, uh, kind of share a story with that where an individual actually went from one dispatcher to another and then actually bounced back. So our guy actually was broke down, decided to drive teams with somebody else just to keep things moving and to keep cash flow coming in. Again, that other individual was under another dispatcher, so he got exposed to a different dispatcher, and then just things clicked a little bit. It was a good experience. Once he got his truck back, he stayed there for a little bit and then ultimately bounced back. So just kind of sometimes it's just personalities clicked a little bit better, and that may happen. So but no, nobody gets blacklisted. But ideally you just don't want to be jumping around from dispatcher to dispatcher. It's about consistency, it's about discipline, it's about getting to know how everybody operates. But yes, that has been done in the past, Ivan. Um, okay. All right. Do you consider where I start the next week when you book my Friday load? Every time. This is clockwork. This is why people are out there doing the 34 on the road, because on Monday morning, you got to be in the best possible place to max out on that financial week. This is why you're in pain and away from the family. So yes, this is one of the most important pieces to the formula, right? So if you're out there Monday, reposition yourself. For those Florida guys, anywhere is actually better than Florida, but nevertheless, that is the key right there. All right. Uh, Somebody wrote, "Why did you send me into a dead? Oh, what if they send me into a dead zone with no reload?" Man, like some remember, like risk is reward. Risk brings your best ROI. Sometimes you have to take chances. You might be in a position where that reload is going to take you to not a favorable mark. I mean, the load is going to take you to not a favorable market. But based on your dispatcher, their demeanor, the way they show up, I have seen it where it works out. It works out because you had to roll dice in order to make something pop. So don't necessarily be scared of that. It's not the end of the world, as long as the guy has a mindset and has a plan and has a track record of hitting. Right. So it's that as well. So if your guy has been hitting, our guys do this, our seasoned owner operators, and for the most part it always pays off. But again, it comes with a little bit of risk. It is trucking, and here we go. We got Melvin, truck to dispatcher ratio, I want to say 10 to 1 on average, something there. Because again, it's so personalized here. There's a lot of moving pieces to what our guys are doing, and how intimately involved they are in every single load and what they're responsible for. That, again, we're not load planners where somebody EDI me, 20 loads and you got 10 drivers and two, it's not load planning. This is like true hard up dispatching. Like, details matter, and so forth. So I would say there, 10 to 1. Some guys do more. Some guys can bang out 15. But anything above that, and obviously in this type of dispatching, in a good market, I have seen, man, like guys could do 18 to 20 trucks. All right, cool. In a good market, that shit gets a little tough, man. That becomes overwhelming. So as like we all know that it's a variable market, so nobody's immune from it. And you can see, let's say, if somebody has seen a dispatcher's, what they could produce, and the workload is dropping. It might be that that ratio is a little too high, so that's not always a good thing. So you want to pay attention to that. So good question, Melvin. Uh, are you dispatching on what's best for me, or what makes your job easier? Yeah. It's all about the bottom line. What is best for the bottom line? What is best for the financials of your company? What will position you for the long run, right? We have to look at it week after week. Consistency, the cash flow has to be consistent week after week after week. We can't just live load to load, and end up nowhere. So we can't just think this load pays pretty badass, but it's going to burn us for next week, and now I'm unloading on a Monday at 3 o'clock in a shitty market. Well, how cute is that? $3 a mile now. Like, you just burned your next week potentially. So everything matters. You want to be looking at everything. Um, how much are you really fighting? How much are you really fighting to get top dollar, or are you just settling quick to move on? No, no, no. You're not. You're never settling. Like I said, our guys are going to negotiate, and we negotiate everything. Everything, times, raycons, like predatory shit on a raycon is going to get negotiated to get that off. So everybody's calling every single time. That is part of our business culture. Always ask for more. Never grab low hanging fruit. That should never be a thing. Um, do you track my weekly gross and net, or just leave it up to me? No, no, we're tracking. So everybody has to have a goal, right? We got to have a goal in order to win, right? You can't just drive around aimlessly. We have to know what the goal is in order to properly plan, properly execute, and for everybody to be on top. So yeah, gross is important, but net is as well. Like, probably net is way more important than gross, because the net number will tell us a lot of things, right? Things that we're leaving money on the table. Number one, taking a look at all the fuel savings. Is a guy even paying attention to that? Because that's a load right there. Like, you can save $300-400 no problem with the type of program we have here. So if you're doing your due diligence, that's money left right out from the bottom line. Like, all you got to do is be able to trip plan accordingly and save that money. Another thing that we're looking at is, what's your MPG. uh, that is so important as well, because you have to know the cost of that, because that might be that you have to change your truck, because that can mean, you know if you're getting 4 to the gallon, and another guy's getting 7.5, that check is night and day, man. They're polarized. One is like, that's $1,000 difference, man. That's huge fucking money, that you have to pay attention to. I'm not saying switch your truck right now. I'm just saying, know the rules. Like, check out what you're looking at, right? You have to know the cost of your business. So that, the net says a lot. A lot of people fall in love with the gross. It's not just about the gross, it's what you take home, because that's what you solve problems with at the house. That's why we're doing this, to improve everybody's lifestyle, or at least to maintain that lifestyle. So the net is the magic number, and that's what that's about. Even with our dispatch, right? Our dispatchers are going to talk about that. They're going to press you. They're going to challenge a certain idea, because you want to be taking home 3,500 more. So they're going to say, all right, what's the goal? I want to take home this much. Great, not a problem. So this is what we have to do in order to make this kind of money. So here's what I say. I encourage everyone to give us a call, 863 342-5171. Find out more about our dispatch team and how they can help you elevate your business and improve your situation. Attention, all owner operators, you got to jump on this opportunity. Our telephone number, once again, is 863-342-5171. And for everybody out there who is also thinking about buying that truck and it hasn't quite decided, there are plenty of information on our Super Trucker podcast. Check that channel out. Subscribe every day after 5 o'clock. New videos come out. So make sure you check them out. My people, it is Monday. Time is up. Be good. Drive safe. Keep earning.